Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to another episode of Top Tier Talk. We have the FA Cup to ramble on about and the Premier League, unfortunately for you, Chavez. But Amir, we're going to start with you. You beat Leeds 3-2, scraped past in the FA Cup and drew 2-2 with Brentford at the weekend. So, a successful week for Chelsea for the first time in probably 18 months.
Yeah, I guess so. We didn't lose in a week. Yeah, the first the Leeds game, obviously they went one up, and it was probably the worst start after that Carabao Cup final humiliation. But we came back to a good goal by Jackson, good link-up play with Caicedo, and yeah, at the end, Conor Gallagher wins it. I mean, he finishes it then, but can't finish the one which counts in against Kelleher. So yeah, we'll get through in that. I guess it doesn't really matter with that if we make it through. I think we've got Leicester next round, so I think we've got. If I'm not going to be like delusional, we've got another Wembley semi-final, I think, and then we'll go from there because we look like a decent cup side until we get to the final against Liverpool. So if we don't get Liverpool, we'll see what happens. On to the Brentford game. Disappointing again. A lot of missed chances. I mean, Jackson missing basically an open goal, and then comes out and scoring a hard header. So it's like it's Chelsea, isn't it? Cole Palmer probably should have scored, and then Whistle with that incredible overhead kick to make it 2-1. But we did react quickly to that. But obviously, lack of quality in the final third and poor defending in some parts is probably why we couldn't win the game and why we got lucky to scrape the draw because they had a few chances of like the Regulon header. But overall, again, my opinion on Poch hasn't changed. I'm still Poch out. There's not much there for me. There's not much improvement. I mean, he seems clueless, but we'll see what the board do into the season, I guess. I think is if he's under review. I mean, the Sporting Lisbon manager and De Zerbi, the two main favourites by looking on Twitter to take over. And they've been looking at that Sporting manager. I don't know his name off by heart, but they've been looking at him for a few seasons. So I don't know whether he's another yes man. I don't really watch the Portuguese league. Like some Twitter heads apparently watch everything, which they probably don't. So I can't really comment on
I
someone
saw
like
um, I saw a tweet. Was that at what point does Bowley just buy Brighton and Hove Albion and just
Hey man, how many more like the CEO, the directors, the thing? I mean, like, yeah, you just should have bought Brighton. Um, yeah, I mean, Chelsea's just going to be another like meh season. Not even meh, it's below meh because we should be getting into Europe, but it's not much this week to be honest
is
with
that
you.
um is that gone now? Just I'll just get the I
Probably.
haven't
We're
I
11th
haven't
place.
really
There's
been
so
paying
many better
attention to the
teams. I
Premier
mean, West
League.
Ham are coming back to form with 2 wins, and last Villa are looking sharp. United up until yesterday were, and I think the week
You
before.
are 19 points off top four.
Well, there we go.
With the game in hand. With the
That's
game
not
in
even
hand,
top
mind.
four, man.
Wow.
Top four. We've got Tottenham as
No,
well.
but good top five, top
Okay,
five.
you're
There's
Well,
you're
maybe
potential.
still 14 points off Tottenham
it's
in
still not
fifth.
good enough, though, is it?
So
Like,
What
well,
about the Europa
listen,
Conference League? That's a good
yeah, we
competition.
can win that. I guess as another European trophy over Arsenal if we win it. So I'll take that. So it's on them series, isn't it? Right. So just
hmm.
just there, like showing signs of promise against the big sides and then against the smaller teams as well. We obviously fall losing to Forest at the start of the season, the Villas and stuff. I mean, Villa have been good, but it's just like a hit and miss season. It's like a this season, more going
Hmm.
like this, and then you get a couple wins and you're down again, and then it's like the
Yeah.
same conversations again. So
I
yeah,
mean, is there anything you would like? What's going to happen in this window? Let's say you stick with your manager. Is it more about are you going to let go of players now, or
yeah, I think so. I mean,
how does this work?
I think some homegrown players will leave. I mean, Ian Matterson potentially. I know I don't think I think he was good enough to play for us. Conor Gallagher potentially if we get the right fee. And Trevor Chalobah looks like he's going to be exiting. Quite a few players, and obviously the big one would be a striker because we obviously know Jackson. Despite him scoring 8 Premier League goals, which I think is our highest total tally, I think he's got
It
more or the
probably is
same
for a
number of
while.
goals as Havertz's highest season for Chelsea already, which is quite an achievement in his first season for a donkey because he probably should have got double what he got. So, got to give him some praise for a 30 million odd player, right? Like you got to give him
Yeah,
some praise.
you just called
But
him a donkey. Man.
I mean, he is though, isn't he? He should be having double that.
Well, just last season, Havertz was your top scorer with 7 in the Prem.
There we go. It's embarrassing, man. And
Uh,
Arsenal fans apparently
and then it was
give
11 Mount
Arsenal fans
the season
praise
before.
that 7 goals for their key attacking player. That's disgusting. Shows the
Yeah.
level of football. Or
So
67.
Amir,
Okay.
let's say you get your signings and key signings. You get. I'm assuming you want a striker, a centre back,
Martial,
whatever you need.
yeah.
What is it that you'd want Poch to get next season? How bad is the situation? Would top four
I
be
mean,
too much
Poch
to ask
next
for?
season, if he gets the striker in, I mean, there's not really much room for improvement. We need to compete in the for top four at least. at least a
Mm.
cup run again, and this time actually finishing it, because there's a lot of obviously issues with our team. It's just that really. We need to get back to what we were before, and obviously these last 2 seasons haven't shown it. I know it's like a rebuild, and we've stripped everything out from Chelsea, but it's just getting back there. There's only so much you can spend and not improve and be 10th and 11th the whole time, right?
Yeah, true.
That's it,
I
really.
suppose.
You've always got a question now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any Chelsea slander,
Say
anything you
me
want?
or L.
Nothing about Chelsea?
No one cares about Chelsea this
I
week.
don't
No,
care. Yeah, it's
it's
irrelevant.
just. Oh, he's disappeared. He's had enough.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, he is
He's
here.
fuming. There's no questions.
No, I wanted an L slander. Chelsea is shit before
Go on,
we.
Elliot.
Well, there's
It's
only
Slander.
kind of
much to do.
boring. It's so boring now.
Well, yeah. What's the point? Do you know what I mean? It's so
No,
bad
nothing
this
on that.
season, and
Nothing
we're
on the
so
Havertz
good that it's
slander.
leveled
Right.
to the point where
Nothing
there's
on
no
the
point.
Havertz slander.
Before we
It's like
move on,
it's like teasing a homeless man too many times with like food and just going, and then you walk past him and he's just giving up already. You're like, yeah, it's boring now.
Well, he's a
You sound
he's a
like you're
he's a-
experienced.
He's a homeless man that used to live in the mansion. No,
Elliot's a
he's right.
secret
It's like
Tory.
a homeless
Yeah.
man used to live in the mansion and have all the glory, and then
Before we
Uh-huh.
move on,
No, you're not.
before we move on, Amir.
yeah,
Next game, you have Newcastle at home.
tough game, very tough
Score
game.
prediction?
I'll take 1-0 Chelsea. I always back Chelsea. Always got it.
Tough
2-1.
game.
Newcastle
2-1
are on
Newcastle.
terrible form though.
This
They're on terrible form.
this could be a 0-0.
2-1 Newcastle.
I mean, I really think you should win that. Especially you can't give Newcastle form again. They
Yeah,
haven't like they've won one in like the
Newcastle in
last.
bad form then.
1,
1-0
2, 3,
Newcastle
4,
then because we're
5.
charity.
You haven't beaten them in 6 games. Obviously, the penalty shootout, but after 90 minutes, it was a draw. So
Thank you.
There's always a stat against Chelsea.
Yeah, 6-1 in 6 games. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm always going to back us to win 1-0 at home as well, especially. So yeah. But I guess we're through in the FA Cup. I guess if we end up winning the FA Cup, then yeah, that's good.
good losing the final to a bunch of kids again.
Or maybe yeah, true.
Moving on to someone, I suppose, that had a bit more of a successful weekend because they got knocked out to Liverpool in the FA Cup in the 3rd round, if I believe that's correct. El, it was Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you-
to go from a cup team to a guy who doesn't care
Let him
about
speak.
You beat arguably the worst team, second worst if you're going off points tally, but based off from what I've seen, the worst team in Premier League history, Sheffield United, 6-0.
We did. We did indeed. Oh my god, what a game. To be fair, I think it was quite funny at the start.
We did it. We did it.
People going, look, really? I mean, he's
Let him have
got
his- let him
Arsenal,
have
bless him.
his-
Look, he's actually happy for once, bless him. Look, he's got a smile on his face. Look, he's talking about Arsenal.
Al, tell us about your successful day over Sheffield United.
No, I was just going to say, even pre-game when you were listening to like Jamie Carragher, Thierry Henry, I know it's obviously Thierry Henry biased because he played for us, but and even if you look into listening to the commentators as well, you know, Alan Smith, all of them, every single one were basically saying to like the Sheffield United fans and anyone who's watching as well that this could be a beatdown. And they were kind of like trying to give as much stats as they possibly could, like positivity towards like anyone watching, saying Sheffield United have done this. They could to make it like an overturn at Arsenal here if Arsenal are complacent. And then within 3 minutes we scored the first goal, and everyone was like, "Yeah, this could be a ridiculous game." And then, as I say, 10 minutes later, and then 13th minute we scored the second, and literally I think a minute or two later we scored the third. 3-0 up in 14 or 15 minutes. I think the first half display against Sheffield yesterday was absolutely unbelievable. It's such fluid football. If you watched it, it was one touch here and there. It was beautiful. Havertz was an absolute masterclass yesterday. Love to see that, by the way. Thank you. I just want to say again, Amir, for you, Havertz was an absolute masterclass
I
yesterday.
mean, it's against bottom of the league.
He's won.
If we can't do it against bottom of the league, then I'm sorry, there's no hope, is there? Right? A championship side.
This
basically.
also is a team that has conceded 21 goals in their last 4 home games.
Yeah, it's
But this
like,
is, hold on.
Let him go.
But this is what I wanted to say though. You know, I think it was so it's 5-0 at half time, and I think we did that 5-0 at half time against West Ham. We've done this multiple times now. I think there was a stat, wasn't it, that we've won 3 away games 5-0 plus on the trot. It was Burnley, Sheffield United, and West Ham. And I think it just goes to show levels because you know, like, I think if you put Man City 2018 back in them shoes, they were probably doing that back in the day. They were smoking like Watford when they were in the Prem, like 7-0.
Thanks.
I had to bring it up. No, but do you know what I mean? But back in those like great days of as you said, Chavez, like the prime kind of Pep Guardiola, like he would be smoking these teams. And at the moment, he's obviously getting away with these 1 or 2-0 wins or 2-1 wins, and we're absolutely taking it by the scruff of the neck and absolutely beating teams down. Like not this 1-0, not this, like, as I say, 2-1. So everyone's obviously like focused now on the Porto. Well, I'd say Porto game, but there's obviously we've got that Brentford at home on Saturday. So that should be an interesting game. We've got them at home. Raya can't play, so we have to put Ramsdale back in the net, which should be good. But yeah, so then obviously, hopefully, I'm quite confident in that as well. If we played the same way that we did in the first half against Sheffield, we should get an easy 3 points against Brentford because we're at home as well. Because don't get me wrong, Brentford away is a very hard place to go to, but I think we got 3 points in there
Did
already.
they early kickoff?
No, 5:30 kickoff. It's a late
Okay.
kickoff. And then so let's say what best comes from that, and we get 3 points. We go top of the league. I know it's obviously a day, but it could be we could still be top of the league if obviously the scoreline permits on Sunday between Liverpool and Man City if we get a draw out of that. But then luckily, I don't know if it's lucky or not, but because obviously we've got Porto on the Tuesday coming up after that, and then we got to smoke them at the Emirates. Please, we want to recreate like what we did to Lens, absolutely smack them down. But then obviously because you actually won a game, Amir, against Leeds in the FA Cup. Our game's been postponed, so we have like a nice
Cancelled.
complacent
I mean, at
2
least one
week.
of us had to show some respect to the cup, right? And not taken.
We
for
have a
granted.
yeah, we got bigger fish to fry. We
And
got
then who's your
2
player?
we got 2 weeks to like basically get ourselves under again and kind of not necessarily relax, but kind of make sure everything's in tip top. You know, like we got the likes of Timber probably coming back, who's still in training at the moment. Partey's now kicked a ball for the first time against Sheffield. We got Jesus coming on. Then Chega's going to come back. Tommy, everyone's coming back, and it's going to be already set in stone for the away game against Man City on the 31st. And I'm looking
That's
forward
going to
to
be
it.
incredible. Yeah, because they'll
That'll
be
be
back.
a game of
What
the
did I
ages.
say was
It'll be a game
the
for the
game
ages, I think.
to? I said
I
this
mean,
a few podcasts ago. What game would I be judging Arsenal
this
on?
one, the 31st of March.
Yeah.
Big game.
Someone
so
also
if
made
we-
a fair point.
This is
I
what I'm
was just going
saying.
to touch on.
Okay, cool.
It's just obviously we were saying like fixture congestion and fixture lists. Spurs still have to play all three, and there was a thing I saw on the Spurs Reddit is they can decide. Spurs can decide who they want to win the title, but obviously they're not going to do that. But Spurs are going to take one of you three down. So who do you lot reckon it's going to be?
Well, they're
I
going to
reckon
go for
Paul.
Arsenal the most, aren't they? That's the
I
most
reckon-
motivation to
I
take
reckon
out.
Liverpool because of that. What happened in that game in the first place when they went to Anfield? When who got cheated out of it?
Liverpool.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
reckon there's
question
some
for you
bad
as
business
well.
there. Go
I
on,
have a
mate.
question for you. Obviously,
What's up?
these wins are very good for you, obviously, in low
Mhm.
pressure situations. But when it gets to Porto and the high pressure situation,
Mhm.
and Saka and everyone come against them, what do you want to happen? Do you want a convincing win? What is it? Porto's obviously the big
I want to
test.
beat down. I'll beat down like we
And
did to Lens.
you want to beat down. And second question, if you had to prioritize the league or the Champions League based on your position at the moment, which trophy would you say you're more likely and for yourself as a fan want to win more?
Champions League for Arsenal.
Yeah, Champions League, I'd say.
Right. And which one would you say likelihood is more likely to happen? A Premier
Prem.
League or you think Prem's more likely? Okay.
You have to ask me next week, simply because of this
That's what I
fixture on
want to ask you
Sunday.
now. I have to ask you now.
You have to ask me next week. Now, at the moment, okay, while obviously fixture list as it is at the moment and points to at the moment, I'm going to say most likely Prem, but I want a Champions League.
Yeah, and I always said if Arsenal win one Champions League, they'll be back above Chelsea in terms of the biggest in London. It only takes one for them, I
Are
think.
you guys? I just got a question for all of you guys. Then, obviously, the upcoming fixture against Porto. What do you reckon?
I reckon-
No, I think you'll win.
Yeah.
You should
I
win, but I
reckon-
would. No, to be honest with you, based on your history in Europe, you tend to go out in this fixture. And wasn't it last year you went out to Sporting as well? So I actually, the odds are against you. in
No,
terms of-
I think
I
next
reckon-
round. I mean, next round they'll play a big team and then.
I reckon
Spoke them
Porto
as
will
well.
help. I reckon Porto will help them. I reckon they'll obviously the away goals aren't a thing anymore. I reckon Porto will sit deep, try and preserve a 1-0, and that doesn't.
And that's
work
not
for
good.
Arsenal.
Yeah, it
to be
doesn't
fair,
work.
against
to be
Arsenal
fair,
anymore.
Porto won 5-0 on the weekend themselves, so they're no kind of like pushover.
Well, you won
know,
6-0,
they're
so
gonna be
you're
up for it.
going.
Nah,
You're one goal
but
better than them.
against
So.
but against
What
you,
I'm saying is like they're not that sort of team that kind of just
obviously
like
they
get away with
dominate
it.
their league,
Yeah,
don't they? I believe, but obviously this is a.
there's no shortage of
Yeah,
like
obviously.
excellence in that league.
Yeah.
Also,
There's a couple of
Final-
very impressive things about Arsenal over the last few weeks. You have now the most goals in the Premier League. You've conceded the least goals in the Premier League. And Arsenal don't concede chances. I mean, there's like a stat about expected goals conceded. And Arsenal, I think, have barely conceded like one, or it's like 1 point something in the last few games, which include Liverpool in the Premier League. So I think you've found your balance in midfield. And the moment that's happened, it's all clicked. Obviously, the Porto game's learning curve, but I think something's clicked now, and your team looks much better. If you get Timber back, by the way, I still think Timber
He's in
is your
training.
best signing.
He's in
Under
training.
Arteta, he will prove to be your best signing under this tenure, and he hasn't even played.
Mm.
So I would hope for the sake of football that guy starts against Man City or at least plays, because
I don't think
then
he'll start.
it'd be very interesting, even off the bench, because he's a very good
Yeah,
player.
yeah, I agree. You can't start him off with like a 2 week kind of layoff, but yeah, as I say, you're totally right. Like we've got an unbeatable defense at the moment. I think, as you said, we've clicked, and everyone was obviously doubting whether or not we needed a number 9 in the summer, or not in the summer, in the January transfer, and it's obviously proven that we don't really necessarily need one.
I
It
think
seems
we
to be
still
we're playing around it.
would need one, but
Would be
obviously at the
nice,
moment,
but at the moment it
because
seems, yeah,
remember the month before you were complaining about the lack of goals. So and obviously there's obviously been an increase and improvement in that,
Yeah.
but
that's what I'm saying.
obviously still
Dubai's
need to
changed
go the
us.
long term, yeah.
I was just digging up the stats, just obviously just while we're touching on Arsenal defence. So the keepers had to make the least saves per match, and they are first with a 0.9 goals conceded per match.
I actually
And
think Rice sus though.
and
I still think so.
they're 6 goals ahead of XG ahead of City, sorry, with 18.8 and 25.1.
Yeah, admit it's a good
Round it
team to
out.
be a goalkeeper. It's a good team to be a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Maybe the best
definitely.
team.
Even Sanchez or someone like as crap as that would be
Yeah, as
very
I said, we
Yeah.
got a rock solid defense. So obviously, if worst comes to worst, like they break through that defense, like all you need is someone who can stop a shot, and Rye's proven to do that at the moment.
yeah.
I think that takes us on to Man United's successful midweek. Obviously, the only game in Chavez's mind is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester United 1. You only had one game this week, Chavez, obviously. So
No,
proceed
Dan,
with your
even
FA
that
Cup win.
even that wasn't good. I mean, before the game even began, I think the draw was done already, and we have Liverpool, which right now under Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool feels like we'll never lose a game, especially with the referees and all of that. So I wasn't really too fussed. I don't think us going through matters that much because we're going to go out next round anyways. We played poor. The whole game was just a shambles, and then we scored a winner. It's been like the key of the season. This season, the only positives have been we've scored a lot of bangers and we've got a few last-minute goals. So we managed to find that, I guess, in the end. Eventually, we scored, and yeah, it was a nothing game though. Good, I guess, winning. Like this is like one of the strange ones where we've been digging out wins when we need to, so it was good. Then the more important game happened, Man City. For me, it was a write-off before the game. I did say that the way our squad was going into this game, I thought we could really get peppered. I mean, worse than 7-0. I even said that last week. So for us to come out and only lose 3-1, I wasn't too mad. I liked how Ten Hag actually changed the system and didn't go stride for stride like he did last year when we lost 7-0. Because if he did that, very much could have happened again. We can't go stride for stride with Man City and attack them. Like I don't know if people wanted that, because if that happened, we would have lost by even more. So the people upset with this tactical display, I don't get it either. But I was going to talk about Man United fans because now I'm so sick of our fan base. Genuinely, it's doing my head in. And I'm a part of this fan base. I guess I'm a part of the problem. But I genuinely think this fan base is the most idiotic, deluded, impatient fan base on the planet. And it's not even close. And I'll tell you why. We'll start with the Man City game. So people watch that Man City game. Cool. They've seen how many injuries we've had. We're injury depleted. Man City, I think, are missing one player, and that was very recently. Everything you see, Lindelof left back, Johnny Evans is playing, our striker's missing, Omari Forson's coming off the bench. Man United fans look at that and think, yeah, Eric Ten Hag's the first problem at the club, the first man who should pay for that. And I don't understand it. And it's been going on for a long time now. One thing I'll say, and I get ripped apart for this, and Eric Ten Hag, despite all of this, still has the highest win percentage in history of Man United since it was created. I think that should allow him to have some time. What I don't get as well is when
So is
people
it
hear
not?
this fact.
Sorry to interrupt. Is that not over a smaller number of games compared to Ferguson or compared to other managers?
No, it is, but I think that's quite important that he's done that because other managers didn't have that. I think only Mourinho had that. And again, by the way, didn't want Mourinho sacked when he got sacked. But this is a fact, and people, again, there's so many opinions, which is fair, but this is a fact. And I think this should be enough to keep him in. Now, what I also don't understand is why Ten Hag is now paying for the failures of. We've had 4 managers before Ten Hag. Ten Hag isn't the first manager after Sir Alex Ferguson. So it feels like he's now paying for everyone's problems. Why can't we give him some more time? Why is it that impatience has to grow even more and suddenly we have standards? What I don't understand is that we've got Sir Jim Ratcliffe right now. If there is a manager out there that can guarantee us something that Ten Hag has done, a trophy in the first season, highest win percentage, if there's a manager out there, then I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe should be held culpable. Why isn't that manager at Man United? Why isn't Nagelsmann at Man United? Why isn't Zidane, like all these managers that people name, Hansi Flick, why aren't they already at Man United if they can guarantee us all of this and do it very quickly and, transition, get their formations in and the players start playing and, Man United there, stride to stride with Man City in the second season. Why is it that that's not already being done? Because I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe's an idiot, but it's not done because you can't guarantee that. There is no manager out there that's going to guarantee that. And people say, well, you're trusting the manager, you're trusting him with all of this. Why? He's the wrong person to trust him because Arsenal trusted in Arteta and it looks like it's paying off. Ten Hag is no idiot. I mean, he has some pedigree before he came. I think we can all agree, banter aside, Ten Hag is a good manager. He was before when he came to Man United. He had a good pedigree. He was good at Ajax. He had a style of football. Fair enough, he's come to Man United. He's had to abandon his principles while we've had injuries, but he's trying to find a middle ground. It's very clear. He said that. He's not just going to come and play Ajax football at Man United. He's trying to find a mixture. The next thing, by the way, we can sack Ten Hag tomorrow. I feel like we will. Why can't we just accept that a manager plays to his full contract? Why can't we give a manager a contract and let him see out that contract? Why can't Ten Hag have 3 years and fulfill his contract? And within that, we see him get his full 11 and play it week in, week out. And once he starts losing, then sack him immediately. He's not got his full 11. He's got players that have survived 4 managers. Why do you look at Rashford and Luke Shaw and think, yeah, Ten Hag? These players have survived so many managers. So I don't care who comes in next. I literally couldn't give a shit. It could be Joe Biden, it could be Kanye West, it could be Nagelsmann, it could be Roy Hodgson. If you're going to give Roy Hodgson a 3-year contract, 2-year contract, you're going to give Taylor Swift a 1-year contract. Let them see the contract out. Let them play their full team. Let them actually play a team. Get them enough players to have their own players to see if they can play that team, play their formation, play their tactics, and win. And if they don't, sack them. Great. Our fan base won't do that. I'm telling you now, the same fans who want Ten Hag out, wanted Mourinho out, wanted Oli out, wanted Van Gaal out, too impatient. These fans, they say, oh, Nagelsmann sounds nice. Hansi Flick, what a great name. Beautiful names, sexual names. Get them in. They will be the first people that will want them out in tears. I'm telling you now. So after this, once Ten Hag is sacked, I'm finished. Like, I will just sit back and say, cool. Like, you can keep a manager full contract. I will never be a manager out because it's impossible. How shit a manager was Mourinho, how shit a manager was Oli, how shit a manager was Van Gaal. These managers must be shit. We must have got so unlucky getting all these managers who were not able to overcome. I don't understand why Ten Hag needs to be sacked now. What is the imperative need to just give up this
devil's
project?
advocate? There's a couple, obviously, the style of play, you're obviously saying he's not had all the players. Maybe recruitment with Anthony or getting Casemiro on a 70 million in his ending the end of his career. A couple of stuff predominantly buying players from the Dutch league. There are a couple instances. I do agree with you. The only time I criticize United fans is when they overdo Ten Hag, like they say better than what he is. That's when I come in and do the banter stuff.
Do you know what? I agree with you, mate. You know, when I use that win percentage stat, it's not for me to say Ten Hag's the king, he's the greatest manager. All I say is that win percentage stat in itself should allow him time. It doesn't mean he's good or that he deserves any praise. It just means allow him to fulfill his contract while being the manager with the highest win percentage in the history of the club. At least give him that respect. I'm not praising him, but people take it that way.
No, obviously. And then I guess another thing as well in the Champions League, the way you guys went out, wasn't it like the worst? I saw like I can find it and like read them out to you. There was like a really good Twitter page that said all of everything that's happened at United since Ten Hag.
Like the records that he's broken.
Yeah. Let me find that.
We're going to be here for about 4 hours if you read that tweet because I was going to mention that as well. And it was
Do
like,
you know what? I'll tell you that every manager's got
it.
records. Every manager's got bad records.
It was
ever
negative
since
records.
Eric Seven Hag joined United, they've lost 13 games by Christmas since 1930. Man United hadn't gone 4 games in a row without scoring since 1992. United hadn't finished bottom of their Champions League group since 2006. Hadn't lost back-to-back to West Ham. I don't know what that's since 2007. Man United never finished with as few as 5 points in the Champions League group. I guess more Champions League stuff they were going off this season. Bournemouth never won at Old Trafford. I guess it happens. Freak stuff happens. But there's a lot of stuff people have said is the first time under Ten Hag. It's a long tweet. But
no, it's true.
I like Ten Hag. I actually do like him. Like first season, you guys were good. You got top 4 and a trophy.
We overachieved.
And second, you obviously with I guess mismanagement. I guess a lot of Ronaldo fans as well. You got to think the way he treated him and like other players and like disrespect as well. Like I see it like Sancho. You got to understand United fan base as well. There's a lot of they player power.
Player FCs.
They like player FCs. So that's obviously going to add to the hate as well. So
Yeah,
So
the
just-
one really strong argument against Ten Hag is the style of play, and what I say to that is that I understand injuries happen in football. With Arsenal have an injury, everyone's had injuries. But with our injuries, when we did have a starting 11, which was back in February last year, we genuinely did win all our games. We won a trophy. We were quite good. We beat Barcelona. We had a very good month, a very good consistent winter last year. So for me, that is enough, and the win percentage to keep him, and not to jump. I don't know. Maybe other people, maybe United fans are very determined that Nagelsmann's an incredible manager. Flick is amazing. Graham Potter.
And is
They
that the
know
manager
deep
they
down.
want? That's the manager they want. That's the one.
Yes,
they
because,
think.
yeah, well, I'd hope so. If you're going to sack a manager and end a project just like that before the contract even ends, you should very well know who you want in next and how good they are. You should really trust them. Like, I'm sure the Man United fans saying they want Ten Hag out know who their manager is, and they know that manager will get us success, because you can't just sack managers. Then we'll be sacking every week. So I'm going to give the Man United fans the benefit out there. I hope they know they really do trust Nagelsmann to win us a trophy in 2 years, and beat Man City, go stride for stride, win a Carabao Cup within the first season, get a win percentage up to 65. I'm sure they trust and they know Nagelsmann enough to do that, or whoever it is, Graham Potter, Hansi Flick. Again, I said Joe Biden. I don't care. As long as they know that, then sack him. I'd sack him
thing is,
tomorrow. But I don't think that's the case. I'm being sarcastic.
the thing is as well is, unfortunately, I think there's some of these fans. I think they go for any club as well. I think I was about to say Watford have them, but they probably don't. But Chelsea have them, Arsenal have them, City have them, Liverpool have them, United 100% have it. Everyone has these sort of fans that kind of want instant success. They support a team, and then if they don't see anything good with that team for the next 2 months, they're like, "I want something to change now," and you're like, what? Like, but these are the thing. These aren't real football fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are the sort of fans that kind of ruin football, because they're the ones who are kind of always online, basically chatting shit, saying Eric Ten Hag out. Oh, this process isn't working. This is that, and it's ridiculous because we had that as well back in the day when Arteta. Like, obviously, everyone was a bit on the fence when Arteta was coming eighth for 2 seasons in a row, but obviously we stuck with him, thank God. And unfortunately, obviously, I understand at the moment when you lose to like your rivals, a City 3-1, obviously it's quite annoying because they're like, it's like a derby. But unfortunately, obviously, City at the moment are probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in Europe. And
Yeah.
some United fans can't understand that. And obviously, the fact that you only, as you say, you were expecting like a 4-5-0 loss against them, and you managed to get 3-1, which isn't too bad. But as you said, if these so-called fans want, like, as you say, Nagelsmann in, and he doesn't win against Manchester City
It's a
next game
cycle, isn't it?
4-0, they're
It's a
like,
cycle.
oh my God, I want him. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I
They
guess
have
some of
no
these fans,
patience, no
I think they are.
loyalty, no nothing. It's ridiculous.
I think they're more like self-entitled fans, like they expect, like,
Yeah,
because they've
yeah.
obviously seen their clubs. I think they are fans, but obviously they're not used to this, and
They
obviously
have no
us,
patience.
yeah. To be honest, you gotta have patience, man. Like, I'm like, the stuff I've seen as a Chelsea fan,
Right
like,
now.
You man ripped me to shreds back in my fucking secondary school days. Do you remember? David
Yeah.
Luiz, Socrates,
But Chavez, correct me if
Maitland
I'm wrong,
Niles.
but this could be an incorrect quote. But obviously when Ten Hag first came in, and it was the first little pothole, road bump, whatever phrase you want to like put it with, and you said
Yeah.
that you're not expecting, was it UCL football these couple of seasons? You said you weren't going to get it to
Yeah.
2025.
I've said, well,
So-
like, yeah, literally. And Man United fans agreed with that, by the way. They generally, like, when Ten Hag came in, I'm telling you, the pedigree Ten Hag had coming into Man United, I don't know if this is revisionism now from our fans. He was genuinely like the up-and-coming manager. I don't think Nagelsmann has that. If he was coming, or Hansi Flick, they will turn instantly on these managers. Instantly. So,
Should
who
we go
knows?
to
We'll see.
combined 11 now?
I suppose,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Intro it.
Liverpool, Manchester City is this weekend. Arguably a title decider, but as we've done it already this season, we're going to do an all-time Pep v Klopp combined 11 in the Prem. Obviously, that is between Liverpool and Manchester City. So
Goalkeeper.
I'd probably still
Alisson.
say Alisson.
Yeah. Still.
Right
back.
back is a
Cole
tough
Walker.
one.
I did
Kyle
think about
Walker.
Zabaleta, but Carl Walker.
Kyle
Let's
Walker.
have a look.
Have a letter.
What about Trent? No love for Trent. I'm going Carl Walker though.
Nah, but
Yeah.
Kyle Walker's the best right back in the Prem ever, I think.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah.
Centre backs, Van Dijk and
Van
company.
Dijk and yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Rubdish.
What's it?
No,
Nah,
it's that company.
Company, yeah.
Nostalgia for
Company's
company.
It's
Left
definitely
back, you haven't got
Oh
much.
no,
Robertson.
Jack-
Robertson.
yeah, Jack-
Robbo, I think it is
Yeah.
Robertson.
yeah, it is.
Or
Yeah.
Cancelo.
He's good, but no. Because Robbo did win the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Midfield.
Yeah.
No, he weren't. No, he
Nah.
weren't on
Yeah,
Pep,
he
was
was
he?
there, but he didn't
He
play.
was,
much.
but
He
yeah.
there for a short. I think it's got to be Rodri, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Phobic
It's not
Fabinho.
Fabinho. Yeah.
Over Fabinho.
KDB's in there.
And I think Bernardo Silva.
Yeah,
happy with that.
yeah, I don't think.
No,
But what about
Liverpool's
in
Coutinho? What about Coutinho? Was Coutinho
Was
there? Under
Coutinho, and he was only there for like a
And
season, wasn't he?
Gerard was there when he as well.
No.
Yeah.
No, was he not?
Nah.
Was it his
Jordan,
last?
Coutinho was there for a season, I think, under Klopp, and then he went to Barca.
Yeah. Liverpool haven't had like they Fabinho. He fell off.
Yeah,
Henderson's
Wijnaldum's not
been-
gonna.
Thiago obviously hasn't performed that
really.
much.
Bernardo Silva deserves.
But yeah, he's a bowler.
Yeah, Bernardo.
Salah on the right, 100.
Yeah.
Aguero up top.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait.
Over Bobby Firmino, I would say Aguero, 100%.
Aguero.
Yeah. Okay.
And on the left,
Was he there for? Was he?
Yeah,
there?
he was there till
Yeah.
2020.
20, yeah. And then
Oh,
he went
okay.
to Barca, didn't he?
Yeah. And left
Yeah.
wing, you've obviously got Sterling.
Oh shit! Yeah, the 100.
You got Sane, Mane.
Mane.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
this
go
is
Mane.
the tough one.
I'm gonna go Sadio Mane.
yeah.
Yeah, because Sane
Yeah.
left, but I feel like Sane was the best.
Sane's a
player
good
of all
shout.
time.
He's a good honourable
But-
mention, but yeah, Mane.
But yeah,
I think.
Mane. That's a good team.
And
And the manager?
Right, okay, manager. I was going to say manager.
What era manager, by the way?
2018 Pep.
I'm
last,
going treble.
last season, Pep.
Treble.
Yeah, treble
Treble
Pep.
Pep.
I think 2018.
I
What,
would
the 100,
say-
100 Centurions Pep. I think that's crazy.
Go on, Chavez.
This, I would. It's not Klopp. COVID Klopp. Let's give Klopp a point. Just
COVID.
for-
Klopp.
COVID Klopp.
Look,
I suppose to end on as well, score predictions. Obviously, Elliot, you touched on wanting it to be a draw, so you could stay top of the league after you inevitably win your game at the weekend.
1-1, yeah.
Oh, actually, you're at home. It's not going to be another demolition job. So you go 1-1, Chavez?
What is it at Anfield?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's a big game. Bloody
That's a
hell.
big game. Yeah.
I think Liverpool will win. I just it's annoying
Yes.
right now. Everything's it's like emotion is winning them. It's like the friends they've made along the way are winning them games. It's not even
Hug it
football.
out.
One last
Hug it
2
out.
I'll win.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
Amir, score prediction?
2-1 City.
And I'll go a 0-0. It wouldn't be a top tier talk prediction segment without
I
a Daniel
always say
Brand
that.
0-0, would it? I'm right most of the time. That's the thing.
What about the UCL? What's going on? There's Arsenal are not playing now. Are they?
That's
No,
next
it's the week after. Yeah.
It's
So
separated.
there's
Bayern,
Today?
Lazio,
We're
beat
on the
Bayern.
12th of March.
Lazio could knock out Bayern and ruin Harry Kane's legacy, which could be quite funny.
that would be incredible.
That'll be fantastic.
But I suppose
And
we'll
then there's
discuss.
PSG, Man City,
Yeah,
and then
PSG, yeah, that's it.
It's going to be standard. I suppose we'll discuss it next week. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah.
And until next week, goodbye.